One of the tires on your screen is showing yellow, which means it's low on air pressure, or PSI. So, as a Tesla owner, what do you do about it? I'm going to show you. All right, so under the car and then under service, you're going to find this, which is awesome. It tells you exactly what's going on with your car and in terms of its tire PSI. So you can see here that my tires are actually low, 39 PSI on the fronts, 40 PSI on the rears. And you can see right here that Tesla recommends that you have 42 all around, 42 PSI. So what am I going to do about it? I'm going to show you how to fill your tires with air, what you need to do so, and some tips along the way. All right, so first of all, this is very handy. It's definitely nice to have on your car to tell you that your tire pressure is low or high or whatever it may be. In fact, if this dips below 37, I think it turns yellow. Maybe it's 38, one of the two. But at any rate, it's not as accurate, in my opinion, as an actual tire gauge. So you're going to want to get a tire gauge. I'll link it down in the description. It just helps you better gauge what the pressures are. I use this as well, but in combination with a tire gauge. Let's get outside the car and get you all pressured up. All right, so the first tip I want to give you is you want to do this in the morning, or at the very least before your first drive of the day. The reason is when you drive, the wheels rotate, they create friction on the ground, and they actually increase their tire pressure on their own. You're going to notice that like on a road trip. All of a sudden, your tire pressures are going from 40 to 45 all by themselves. So you want to do this in the morning to get an accurate reading and get those tire pressures, you know, at a base level while they're cold. So let's go ahead and do that. This car hasn't driven, and we're going to get them all pressured up. They were low in the fronts and low in the rears. Let's go take a look. Hold on. Stop everything. I know you're having all this air pressure fun. I know it's thrilling, exciting stuff, but it would really mean a lot to me if you hit the like button on this video, as well as the subscribe button if you like what you're seeing here on the channel. We're just trying to help Tesla owners get familiar with these cars. So let's get back to air pressure because it's so fun. First things first, I like to get a tire gauge. You can find one on Amazon. I'll link one of these down in the description. I actually use 3 different gauges when doing my tires. One on the screen, like I showed you on the Tesla screen. 2 is this one. And then actually my air compressor has a tire gauge as well. So between the 3 of them, I should get a good reading. Here we go. So we turn it on, and we're showing 0. Take off the valve cap. Place it somewhere nearby where you're not going to lose it. I'll put these down in the description too. These are really cool. These are metal, and they're black, and they look really nice. So first thing is we want to line it up with the valve stem here, and we've got a light on here, which is nice. So we're going to go ahead and get the reading. And we're at 40.5. I don't know if the camera is getting that. 40.5 on the fronts. So let's get the air compressor and get it up to pressures. So this is a Black & Decker air compressor that I have used for a very long time. Actually, this is the second one going around. The first one, the motor blew on it after about 10 years of use. I will link this down in the description as well. This particular one, it's called the Black & Decker Air Station. I don't think they make this one anymore, but they do have an equivalent. And what I like about these is, again, it has its own air pressure gauge right here. I'm going to set this, and it's just a dial. Take a look at this. It's just a dial, and you can control it for whatever. If you're pumping up a bicycle or your Tesla, then you take this and you put it on the valve just like the gauge that I showed you earlier. So you push it in and then lock it in with this. And there you go. It's ready to go. It's going to get really loud here in a second, but we're going to get these up to pressures. And then I'm going to check again with this gauge, and we want to get it around, I actually like it a little more than 42. I like to get it around 44, but the same rules apply. Here we go. Fire in the hole! All right, it is ready. Let's take this off, and we're going to check it again with our tire gauge. Unfortunately, this times out after like 30 seconds, so you got to keep turning it back on. Didn't get that time. There we go. All right, it comes in at 45, which is a little high for me. I wanted it to be 44, so I'm going to use a small screwdriver and carefully let some air out. Now, it lets a lot of air out at a time. So just really briefly, a little spray. And then we'll check again. .44, right on the dot. And how I did that was with this little screwdriver, there's a little pin right on the middle of the valve. You don't want to break it or anything like that. Just kind of push it in a little bit and it'll let the rest of the air out. So this tire is ready to go. 44 PSI is what I wanted. Should do it. Now these are kind of hard because they are metallic. The plastic ones are easier to get on. So there is the valve stem. Let's move on to the rears. Here we are on the rear tire. I did dial this down a little bit because it did it up to 45 PSI. So let's see how accurate it is this time. And again, we'll take the valve stem off. Make sure you put it somewhere you don't lose it. Put that on, and here we go once again. Fire in the hole! All right, that one sounds done. We'll see how close it got. But no big deal if it overinflates, because I showed you how to do that earlier. Turn this back on. We're down at 0. You can tell when it didn't grab. There we go. So we're at 44.5, so I do have to let a little bit more out. Not too much, just a real quick thing. Again, right in the middle, there's a little valve stem. Boom. Let's see how that goes. And now we're at 44.0. So there you go. That is 2 tires done. I will do the other 2 on my own. I don't think you need to see that. It's basically going to be the same exact thing. Maintaining proper air pressure is key to maintaining the tread life of your tires. And let's be honest, these things aren't cheap, so you want them to last as long as possible. And this is one of the best ways to make sure that you can do that. All right, let's hop inside the car and see what the car is saying. All 4, for me, we're saying 44 PSI. So let's go into the car here and then service. And unfortunately, the readings are at 20 minutes ago. So guess what we have to do? We have to take the car for a short little drive around the block. Let's do that. So this is the trick. You got to drive the car for a very short time, basically a little bit around the block. And then those readings will pop up again as being current. I just want to see what the car is showing after the tire gauge was showing me 44 all the way around. Oh, guess I gotta have safety first, right? That seatbelt on. There we go. Still at 22 minutes ago. Flip a U here, and last time I did this, this was about when it changed. So let's take a look. Whoop, sorry about that. You okay? Still hasn't changed. Usually it's pretty fast. Of course, when I want to do something on video, things don't work as planned. Oh, there we go. All right, so interesting to note, and I'm glad it did this because now you're going to see it firsthand. My 44 on both the Black & Decker Airstream as well as my tire gauge were both reading 44, and the car is reading 42, which is perfect. You'll have to play around with these measurements and see how your car reacts. 44 might be 42, and there you go. That's another little tip right there in the middle of it all, that 2 gauges said 44, the car said 42. So as I said at the beginning of the video, either the car isn't accurate or 2 other gauges aren't accurate. Take your pick, I guess. So there you go, just a quick little video on how to add air pressure to your tires on your Tesla if you haven't done this before. You just need a couple of easy things like this compressor and the air pressure gauge just to help you along. And I hope this video helped you. If you didn't know how to do this already, this is a perfect example of what we're all about here at Tesla Tips and Trips. Tire air pressure, it's a simple thing. I recommend doing it once a month. In the winter, maybe even more because you lose more air pressure during the winter time. You'll notice those pressures coming down, especially overnight in a cold area, wintry kind of area. Here in Los Angeles, I still do about once a month. It's not that big of a deal. So there you go. If you got any questions, hit me up down in the comment section. I'd love to interact with you guys. You guys are coming up with great comments, great questions, and as always, please hit that like, subscribe, and bell. We are growing the channel. We love doing videos like this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for watching.